Hi, it's Konstantin here again. Welcome to Module 3, Lesson 5, where we're actually going to optimize your campaigns, right? In the previous lesson, we have launched your copy, headlines, and creatives. Now, the very next day, you're going to receive data. What are you going to do with the data? How are you going to optimize based on your KPIs? It's actually very simple, and we're going to walk you through kind of like a few frameworks. I'll show you how to track the data as well. So this is what's going to be covered in today's lesson, where we're going to cover how to prune ad sets based on your KPI, how to quickly read the data and get a really good feel for the ad account. What's happening? What should you improve? What you should not improve, right? Like that's what the pruning is all about. Then we are going to share kind of a quick tip on how you can budget the campaign, how you can be aware of what you're currently spending. Of course, very important, especially if you're spending a lot of money on ads. And then reporting, right? What are you going to do with the data that you're going to receive? Like, how are you going to store it? How are you going to use it, right? It's very important to have that part ready as well. And then finally tracking, right? Like how can you fully optimize your campaigns based on the results you're getting, and knowing that the tracking you're receiving in the ad account, that's actually the right data. All right, so let's jump right in. Let's cover ad set pruning to begin with, right? So you're going to receive data on a day-to-day basis. Like, how are you going to optimize? What are you going to look for when you're going to have different ad sets, different audiences? How are you going to do that, right? So that's the very first step. So let's jump right into an ad account, an e-commerce brand, currently spending 50k pounds a month, and I'll share with you the process. So here's the account. As you can see, across the month, 32,000 pounds in ad spend. We're gonna hit over 60 pounds, over 50 pounds in ad sets. So let's dive into the account. Just want to share with you how you can optimize things and prune your campaigns on the top of funnel. So got here a juicy campaign currently running around 50,000 pounds in campaign budget. And here we got a bunch of data, right? So our team actually already optimized the account. So I was a bit upset when I saw it, because I can't really turn off the ad sets for you and share the decision-making process, but we have ad sets from the past that we've turned off that I can give you an example. So go here, a bunch of ad sets at 50 pounds, 100 pounds, 200 pounds. And this is what I shared with you in the previous lesson, right? Keep everything consistent across all your accounts, all your campaigns, all your assets. At our agency, we use 20, 50, 100, and 200 pounds Australian dollars per day in campaign or ad set budgets. And we use this across Google and Facebook, and this way it's nice and clean. So got here the budget very organized. Look at the naming conventions, look how clean it is. You know exactly what's going on. We're targeting UK interest. It's either lookalike, broad. We know the demographic. We are aware of which creatives we're testing in this ad set. Some broad 10% lookalikes. And as you can see, majority of it is really like AI broad audiences. That's where we're really getting the best results. It's pretty crazy. Targeting 10, 20 million audiences works the best on Facebook, especially if it's like a kind of like a virally product. Right, so here the KPI is cost per acquisition below 20 pounds a purchase. So we're doing well here. Here are a few ad sets that we're underperforming already. Our team turned it off. So I was hoping to actually being able to prune some ad sets with you today, but it's already been done. So right here we've got here 50 pound ad set. It spent 2 days worth of budget. It got 5 purchases, 20 pounds, just slightly over KPI. Here, one more. It got launched in 1 day. It didn't get many sales. This one right there, 57 pounds. It just got no sales whatsoever. This one it probably got turned off, and then Facebook reported a few days later, attributed a few more sales to the Adset. So that's why it's actually under KPI. We could potentially turn it back on, see if it has some juice in it left. But yeah, this could have been turned on. But again, it takes a little bit of time for the tracking, and sometimes when you're scaling down a campaign, you just want to quickly get rid of everything that's not performing and trim the budget back down. So yeah, as you can see, a lot of these ad sets are way above KPI. So 25, 70, 25, 37. So kind of like those are like the rotten apples, right? Like you don't want to keep them in the account. You want to quickly launch things. So here we've launched, we're scaling by duplication. So we launched the exact same ad set, winning stack of creatives, broad audiences. Unfortunately, with this account, we cannot share with you, we cannot share the actual creatives. It will just kind of expose the account. And our client was more than happy to share the account, but not the creatives and everything else. So that's kind of the situation here. So I hope you appreciate that. But yeah, so duplication, five times the same, scheduled for the next day, is going to spend, we're going to receive data, and we're going to see what it's going to do, right? But here we've got all of the very juicy, sweet apples, right, that are constantly producing results. 9 purchases at $11, 11 pounds, right? A lot of really good ad sets. And this is how you can create some really amazing winning campaigns and ad sets for you, by constantly launching new things, new creatives, new copy, new headlines, everything that I've been talking about throughout this whole course. You launch it, you cut the losers, keep the winners, duplicate the winners, scale up the winners, right? At some stage you'll have, already kind of covering the next lesson, which is scaling, but you can simply increase the budget right there to 200 pounds a day, or it's kind of like a Pokemon, right? At some stage, like this Pokemon, it's kind of like level 1 evolution right there, right? So it has done very well, but only for 2 days. If it keeps performing, we eventually can level it up to 100 to 200 pounds, right? That's how the Pokemon levels up and produces more ROAS and results for our clients. And here we've got one that is kind of like fully leveled up. In our experience, you don't want to go over 200. You can go 300, but 200 really is the max. When you go over 500,000 pounds, Australian dollars a day, it's just going to be very unstable campaign, and it's going to bomb. So we found that this kind of to be the sweet spot. And as you can see, look how long the campaign has been running. This ad set has been producing results for over 100 days, because it spent over 20,000 pounds. Right, so that's already scaling for you for the next lesson. But yeah, like it's just all about managing things. You check out the last 7 days, or you really begin with the last 2 days. That's where you start. Last 2 days, okay, cool. This campaign, this ad set spent $50. It spent 200. Spent 100 pounds, got 9 purchases, we keep it, right? This one spent 50 pounds, didn't get anything, or got like 2 sales. This one didn't get anything. This one got only 1 sale. Terrible result. You want to switch it off as quick as you can. Then what's going to happen is some ad sets perform well in the beginning, but then they stop performing. Right, that's why you always want to manage on the last 7 days as well. So you want to check out, all right, this one has been running for 6 days now because it spent 300 pounds. Oh wow, it's still producing results. We better keep that one, right? That's how the stuff goes. So this one spent 7 days worth of ad spend, 26 sales. Awesome, let's keep that one as well. And then you also want to just do kind of like last 14 days and kind of for the whole month. You just want to have a brief overlook of what's been going, you can see that this is kind of like the big boy here is the fully evolved Pokemon is kind of letting us down, but because it's been running for so many, it's literally been producing results for months and months and months on, we'll just keep it, right? Because it gives us more purchases, we can remarket, right? It's a really solid ad set still, even though if it's a little bit out of the KPI. Right, and then just this month as well, you just want to quickly check, okay, cool. The ad sets that are running, they're all doing well. Awesome. Right, so then quickly the middle of funnel as well. A few ad sets right there. Okay, boom, they're also doing really well. And this one right there is a very hands-off campaign. So now what you want to do is just quickly check what the budget is. Filter on ad sets active. Okay, then you can check out all of the active ad sets right now. You can select them all, check out the budget. Right, and we're currently spending £1,510 a day, which is 45K per month. So the target is 50,000 pounds. That's why we have been launching new ad sets for kind of like the very next day. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 plus 250 pounds a day in additional ad sets that we're going to get launched. And again, it's like a process of elimination that's going to happen that I've explained throughout the video. Now you want to do reporting, right? So we've got the data from the account. What are we going to do with it? Where are we going to store it? How are we going to make optimizations based off the campaign? You have received the performance tracker, and I've attached 2 sheets for e-com and lead gen where you can enter the data manually. We recommend doing it on a weekly basis. This is what we do for all of our clients. There are apps like Supermetrics. They can inject the data straight into the kind of like data sheet, so you don't have to do it manually, but I would recommend trying it to do manually at least week after week to get the discipline of understanding what's going on with your campaigns, right? So here a quick example. Let's say we spend 10K a week. Our budget was 10K. We got 1,000 purchases at $10 per purchase, and the return on ad spend was 3. Week 2, same ad spend, same budget, but 500 purchases, $20 per purchase, and a ROAS of 1.5. Like, whoa, what happened there, right? So that's why you do this tracking, so you're actually aware of what's happening with your campaign. And then you can go back to your optimization sheet where you can actually troubleshoot your preliminary and conversion rate metrics. Let's say your cost per click isn't performing. All right, what do? Broaden up the targeting, change up ads, positive angle, removing trigger words. Maybe like your click-through rate, people aren't clicking through. You improve your headlines, ad copy, ad creatives. That's how you go through this whole sheet and troubleshoot the performance. Of course, if it's just 1 week drop off, you know, it might have been just a bad week, but if it keeps going south, you want to make changes in the campaign. And I've shared throughout the whole course every little detail, every little component that you can do to improve your campaign. Finally, tracking, right? So how do we actually know the data that we receive in our account is actually correct? There've been countless updates on tracking over the last few years. That's why I kind of didn't want to touch upon this topic too much. But with e-commerce, we find that Conversion API gives us very accurate data, like up to 90% accuracy. We find that it still works incredibly well, just native tracking from Meta API tracking with both Shopify as well as WordPress. It's a matter of copying and pasting the pixel into the platform, and it does it for you. With lead gen, especially if you're dealing with cold funnels where the sale happens on the telephone, we actually recommend using Hyros. It costs $300 to begin with. We are actually an agency partner. We love using the software. It's really awesome. And at the same time, we have no incentive of selling you this, because with Hyros, there are two kind of like ways of we can do this. We can either get commission if we refer you to the platform, or we can give you 20% discount. And there's no benefit to us to referring it, right? If you want to use this, and if you want to track sales, if you want to track, let's say a salesperson in your team makes sales on the telephone, we can actually track it in the ad account. That's the power of Hyros, and I believe it really shines with kind of call funnels, webinar funnels, where a lot of the sales happening on the back end, right? So if you're interested in using it, I would say if you're spending less than 10K a month, it's kind of not really worth it. Just make sure you get an ROI in your campaign to begin with, and then you can invest in different softwares and stuff like that. But yeah, it starts with $300 a month. We can hook you up with a 20% discount if you're interested. So that's tracking for you. So here are the action items for today. We've discovered kind of like how to optimize campaign structure, campaign data, how you can read through the metrics very quickly and understand what's happening, and cut the losers and keep the winners. I've explained how you can quickly budget things, selecting ad sets, find out what you're actually spending. It's very important to do that when you're especially spending thousands a day. Reporting as well, that the importance is of actually, accounting for your data. What sort of results are you actually getting, right? It's very important to keep things organized and keeping track of the performance that you or your clients are getting. Otherwise, it's impossible to make any optimizations. And then finally, I touched upon tracking, how you can track your e-commerce campaigns. We recommend at this stage, and again, that's why I didn't want to dive too deep in this one, because it's going to change within a month or 6 months anyway. Right now, Conversion API works incredibly well for us for e-commerce, and Hyros we use for lead gen funnels to track sales on the back end as well. So I hope you've enjoyed this one. I look forward to see you in the next lesson, which is scaling.